Hello, and welcome back to
Dungeons and Dragons.
Warriors of the Eternal Sun with me, Dr. J. So, this episode, we're finally going to go outside the town, the keep, and begin embarking on our adventure proper. First, let's go ahead and talk to these guards as we leave. This one tells us the beastmen come from the north. And this guy tells us the beastmen have a camp to the northwest. And now, when we step outside, the music suddenly changes. It becomes more adventurous, dangerous. So if we bring up our map now, we see that we have a pretty complete map of the valley. Now this is a little bit of a strange point, almost a contradiction in the story, because we're being told to explore, suggesting that we don't have a good idea of our surroundings. And yet we have this very complete map of the valley, as though it has already been thoroughly scouted by the Duke's men. There are a few different points in the story that are kind of strange like that, but let's go ahead and just kind of ignore that particular contradiction and accept it. Because from a gameplay point of view, it's very nice having this map that you can reference to see notable landmarks and places that we might want to travel to, so we don't just have to explore blindly. Now, when I played this game the first time, I was just a child, very young, and not that smart. So I didn't realize that the game is almost constantly signposting you where you need to go next. So I really did just spend a lot of time exploring blindly and wandering around lost. And that was actually kind of fun. Actually, sort of an enjoyable way to play the game. But now that we're older and wiser, and also have played the game multiple times, we have a much better idea of what we're supposed to do and realize that the game is signposting where we're supposed to go next. Before we embark, let us briefly recap what has happened so far and review our charter. Before the game starts, our civilization is at war with a goblin horde. And the war is not going well because our population, the entire population of our presumably duchy, since our ruler is a duke, has been forced back into this keep. And the goblins are amassing for a final assault. So it looks like we're going to make our last standing at slaughtered to a man. When suddenly a void opens in the sky, sucking in our keep and all of its people, as well as the goblin hordes. The void spits us out in this strange new world with a sun that never sets and horizons that slope upward in all directions, with no sign of the goblins. However, that doesn't mean that we're out of hot water, because there are many hostile creatures in this land as well, some of which are attacking the keep, and we are on our own here. We have no allies, we don't know anybody, or know this land at all. So, the Duke has taken us brave adventurers and charged us with exploring and trying to find friends, allies, to increase our chances of survival in this new environment. Now, the game has hinted at where we're supposed to go first by telling us that the Beastmen live in the north, and that there's a Beastman camp northwest of the keep. So, from a story perspective, those are going to be the places we go first, to that Beastman camp and then to investigate those caves to the north. However, I'm going to also investigate every secret area in this game. There is a cave behind the waterfall to the north. Now, I'm not going to go there right away, though, because if my memory serves, the monsters in there are mid-level creatures that will absolutely make mincemeat of our first-level party. So we're going to save that for later, but it is something we're going to check out at some point. So the first thing that we're going to do is check out the Beastman camp to the northwest, as it's been hinted we should do. See if maybe we can parley with them, come to some kind of understanding, although from what we've been told of them so far, that doesn't sound very promising. And after that, I'm actually going to swing around to the southeast and check out the swamp. There's no story reason to do that, but there are interesting creatures you can encounter there, and it will let us do a bit of leveling up with random encounters. And then there is a cave to the southwest, a secret cave hidden in some trees, which I'm going to investigate, because it's cool seeing all the secret locations in this game. And it's a reasonably good low-level leveling location. So I'm going to use that to grind a little bit and get my party a level or two. Now there is, as any veteran of the game knows, a much better grinding location near that fiery area to the northwest, where if you know about it and choose to exploit it, you can very rapidly get a high-level party, a ton of amazing equipment, and essentially trivialize the remainder of the game. I don't think that would make for the most interesting playthrough because I'm not trying to speedrun it or anything. So I'm going to refrain from doing that unless my party becomes underleveled for where I'm supposed to be in the game. Then I might use that location to grind some levels. And then, after investigating that secret to the southwest, we'll go ahead and head for the Beastman Caves and advance the storyline. So those are our plans for the immediate future. Now let's begin by checking out this Beastman encampment that the guards have told us about. I really love how this game has two completely different modes. This overland exploration mode with turn-based combat, and we are getting into a fight on the way there with tiny beastmen. And this demonstrates the turn-based combat. Nice shot, Lucia, as expected of the elf. Very good at ranged combat. See if the dwarf can match. Nope. Not surprised. Get him, Grelden. Oh, nice shot from Grelden, and he one-shots the tiny beastman. Our party's off to a good start. Alright, so that demonstrated the turn-based overland combat with good timing. And then we already saw the first-person dungeon crawling part of the game with real-time combat. It's almost like getting two different games in one, and they're both really well done. Oftentimes when you have games with very different gameplay modes, those different gameplay modes are not done all that well because the devs had to divide their attention. But in this game, both of these very different modes of gameplay are done really well. And that is awesome. That is one of the things that makes me like this game so much. Let's get these flying vipers. Nice shot. Party is doing very well so far. Okay, here is the Beastman camp we were told about. Looks like they're cooking some tasty meat over a fire. Now, oh, and here comes a boar. I'm going to lure the boar out of there and then engage it in combat. Come on, boar. Nope, it's having trouble getting at us. The pathing is not amazing. There we go. Okay, boar, get ready to be wrecked. What I'm doing, by the way, is I am engaging the enemies in ranged combat, which automatically gives me initiative. If you get too close to the enemy, it's like they ambush you and they automatically get initiative. It's something that you want to avoid. Getting a lot of missing. That's common with first level characters. Nice shot from Grelden, though. Come on, Lucia. Get your eye in. She missed. Come on. Go, Draven. Finish that boar. All right. We're missing a lot. This is a fairly typical thing that happens in this game, where you just get on a big missing streak. It's something to get used to. Ooh, tough boar. Took another hit. Lucia, get in there and help out Dimsdale. And Lucia skewers that boar on her sword. Nice work. So as I was about to say when the boar rudely interrupted us, hopefully we'll be able to parley with these beastmen, but just in case they're hostile, let's go ahead and ready those sleep spells. Now, as I mentioned, I don't recall using sleep much, if at all, in my previous playthroughs of this game, but by the pen and paper rules, sleep should be a very good spell to use against low-level enemies. Let's see if it's good in this game. Okay, beastmen come out from all directions, hairy beastmen, to ambush us. So, since they're immediately hostile and aren't even willing to talk with us, I guess negotiations have broken down. Note how we've encountered tiny beastmen and hairy beastmen. I'm going to be explaining what that means after we fight these guys, because there is a reason that there are all these different type of beastmen that we're going to encounter. But first we have to survive this fight. So explanations will have to wait. Okay, whoever that guy attacked, he missed, so that's good. Alright, and that guy attacked us from the rear. trying to hit our vulnerable mage. Luckily, he missed, so that was very fortunate. Dimsdale's going to try to protect Draven. Nice, gets a solid hit in with his axe. And now, let's test out this sleep spell. So, it's either very short range, or it has line of sight issues, because it's not letting me target past that tree. Let's see if a different angle will let me target it better. I guess the meat is in my way from that angle. Dimsdale's kind of in my way, trying to get a better angle. Well, let's just toss it down here. I don't know how large its area is, but let's see how many guys we can affect by throwing a sleep spell here. Okay, that is a wide area of effect, and it looks like it just put 2 beastmen to sleep, so that's pretty nice. Then Greldon cracks or caves that guy's skull in with his mace. Good job, holy man. Where else are we being attacked from by multiple guys? Up here are a couple. Looks like it is line of sight based, because the range appears to be pretty long. I just can't target it where things are in my way. Since the area appears pretty large, let's have Draven toss to sleep right there. And it put another guy to sleep. So it looks like the sleep spell is pretty much implemented according to the rules and appears to be pretty effective. Alright, Lucia, skewer that guy. Nice work, Dimsdale. Okay, and now because first level magic users are terrible, Draven only has 1 spell, so he's going to have to equip his sling and just chuck rocks at the enemy. And we're going to move Greldon to where he can protect him. Okay, we need to get Greldon out of there. His low armor class caused him to take that hit. We want Lucia to be taking these hits, because with her armor class, she's much less likely to get hit. Alright, and she finishes that Beastman off with a quick thrust through the heart. Nicely done. Okay, our backliners are not doing great with their ranged attacks. Dimsdale whiffs. Beastman counterattacks and also whiffs. Ooh, lots of hit points on that guy. Worth noting, the enemy hit points are rolled randomly in this game. So you can encounter the exact same enemy and it might have a very different amount of hit points from one battle to another. Ooh, and Draven gets the kill with a well-placed shot from his sling. Greldon striking a blow over there. And the sleep spell is causing enemies to just miss their turns until we wake them up by dealing damage to them, which is really advantageous when we're outnumbered like this. I am now convinced, at least against low-level enemies, sleep is really strong. So I'm glad... Oh, man, Lucia, 9 damage. Slashes that guy right through the chest. That's the end of him. So yeah, I'm glad that I experimented with that and determined that sleep is indeed a good spell in this game. Arguably better than Magic Missile at low levels then. Alright, I'm going to start getting up into melee range with this guy. But until then, I'll chuck rocks at him. Nice shot, Greldon. Right, I need to equip Lucia's sling. And the elf with the accurate ranged attacks. Nice work, Lucia. It'll be even better when she gets a bow because, let's face it, bows are very elf-appropriate weapons. Just classic. Alright, and we also gathered 420 gold pieces from those guys. Pretty nice haul. That went really well. It's unusual for first-level characters in Dungeons & Dragons to fare so well when they're drastically outnumbered by enemies. I think that was a combination of the strong magical equipment we got from those secrets, the fact that we used 2 sleep spells and sleep is implemented correctly and thus really good at low levels, and we just got fairly lucky. So that fight went really smoothly. Now we're going to rest so that our cleric can regain his hit points. And although I have determined that sleep is really good, and probably better than magic missile at low levels, I'm going to go ahead and swap out sleep for magic missile just on Draven, purely just for variety's sake, because variety is the spice of life. By the way, anybody familiar with the game is going to be like, what the heck was up with the sound effects during that fight? I don't remember those from the game. Indeed, those are sound effects that I'm adding in from Chronicles of Mystara, the games that our heroes are taken from. Just because I'm having fun sprucing up this LP in various ways. Okay, now as I mentioned, I'm going to make my way to the swamp because, as I said, there are some interesting creatures that we might encounter there. Some of which could kill us because there's some really tough monsters there which could easily slaughter a first level party. So just in case we all get killed, I have saved off screen because I don't want to lose our progress. We are whiffing like crazy against this boar. Come on guys, you did so well against the beastmen. And now you're getting killed by a boar. This is embarrassing. Unbelievable. Thank you, Grelden. Caves in that boar's head with his mace. Alright, so as I was saying, we're heading to the swamp to see if we see anything interesting there and fight some creatures, maybe level up a time or two. And this journey might take a little while, so let's go ahead and discuss some things to spruce up our journey. As I mentioned, there is a reason that we encounter so many different types of beastmen in this game. Small beastmen, medium-sized beastmen, very large beastmen, hairy beastmen, and, you know, all different kinds. And before I explain what's up with the beastmen, I want to touch on a related topic. There is a lot of interesting lore and backstory to the world of Mystara and the subsetting of Mystara that we now find ourselves in, which I will reveal at the appropriate moment. And it's clear that the developers of this game read the relevant source material because they make use of quite a lot of it. However, there is a large amount of information that this game never shares with the player. And I'm of two minds about that fact. On the one hand, I think it's really interesting when a story has a bunch of lore and backstory that is never explicitly mentioned, because if you can do that well, you can create an interesting texture and sense of depth, like there's more going on than meets the eye, more than the characters know. And I really like that feeling when a story successfully pulls it off. And I got a little that when I played this game as a child, because I didn't know anything about D&D lore like I do now. And so that's kind of cool. But at the same time, the vast majority of people who've played this game probably don't know most of the information that I'm talking about, most of the lore from the setting. And they're actually missing out on a lot of really cool stuff as a result of that, because the game just never shares that information with the player. And that's kind of a shame. But luckily, I'm here to fill in the gaps. So one of the many things that the game doesn't discuss much is the Beastmen. We never learn very much about them, except that they're savage to the point of being crazed, and that they're hostile, and basically we just slaughter a bunch of them without really learning much of interest about what their deal is. As far as our characters are concerned, Beastmen should be extinct. Now the game does get around to making the larger plot point that there's a lot of extinct creatures in this area, and Marmillion's going to come up with some theories about why that might be the case. But it never mentions that Beastmen specifically are one of the creatures that should be extinct that we're encountering around here. And what beastmen actually are, they're essentially, in this world, the ancestors of modern day savage humanoids like the goblins that we were fighting in the opening, and other goblinoid type creatures, and things of that nature. They're kind of like the monster equivalent of Neanderthals, extinct precursor to currently extant species. And what's interesting about beastmen is that they are genetically or biologically unstable. They do not breed true from one generation to another. And there is a lot of variation in what beastmen look like and what kind of physical characteristics they have. They can be large or small. They can have more animalistic features or more vaguely resemble humans. Like I said, they're just very genetically unstable. The precursors to modern day monstrous humanoids and should be extinct. And that's all kind of cool information that the game just never shares with you. And it will eventually... the game won't really reveal it per se, but as relevant plot points come up, I will eventually reveal what the deal is with why there are beastmen who aren't extinct in this place. So now we've returned to town so that we can go to the shops and spend the money that we earned killing that beastman camp. Now I don't think that the weapon and armor shops are going to have anything new because nobody has gained a level yet. And the shops get more stuff as people gain levels. Right, there's nothing new here. So I think the only thing of interest we're going to be able to get right now is that shield scroll from the magic shop, which we're going to give to Draven so that he can cast shield and improve his armor class. Because that provides a long-term benefit that makes him more survivable, which is probably better than doing a little bit of damage once with magic missile. It might not be better than casting sleep, because we saw how strong sleep is, but it'll be nice to have the scroll in any case. Very nice. And now, if we rest up, Draven scribes the scroll shield. And I'm going to go ahead and have him memorize shield for now. And this will also allow Dimsdale to get his hit points back. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cross the bridge and start exploring the outer portions of the valley. And like I said, we're going to start by checking out the southwest and seeing if we can find that secret cave and maybe do a bit of leveling up fighting the monsters inside. So that's what we're going to be doing next time. And I hope you'll join me for that. I'll see you then, and have a nice day, everybody.